If you want to cure your fear permanently, you have to stop sinning. Stop doing bad deeds that lead to a bad response. That's the only way. Now, that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear that there is a meditation for fear. You should meditate and be mindful and observe your fear and embrace your fear. Yes, these are healing methods. They can heal you temporarily, but they are not going to permanently remove your fear. Because fear is your body's response to an immediate threat. Your body is sensing that an immediate threat is coming to you. Now, where does this threat comes from? Yourself, your own deeds, your accumulation of these, your karma. So your karma, it's what creates your fear. And there are different people around the world. Some are free from fear, and some are filled with fear. For example, Western people right now are very much filled with fear and layers of fear. And the society in the West is very much based on fear, and most of the spiritual practices are related to trying to remove fear. But the fear comes from your sinning. Because the society has turned away from God, and you have been sinning since you were a child. And when you sin or do bad deeds, a bad response comes to you. You are creating this cosmic response yourself. So what people do is that they sin a lot, and then they suppress their sins. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to be aware of it. They don't want to be aware of their deeds. They just want to go into a belief system and think that everything is good. And when they are reminded of their sinning, then they become hostile to it. That is why Western people don't want to talk about racism. Western people don't want to talk about colonization or bombing of the Middle East or exploitation of the third world or any of these sins that are straight up sins. Because the consciousness inside, or the conscience, is reminding that all of that sinning is ultimately going to lead to a negative cosmic response. When I have been in my deepest states of meditation, like the longest that I've ever meditated, I connect to the deeper spirit of the world. I only see racism and exploitation, that the world is hurting because of all the sins that have been done to so many people. That is why, for example, African people are not afraid, but Western people are constantly in fear, because African people don't commit a lot of sins. And those Africans who do, they are afraid. You know that from yourself, right? If you have done something stupid at work, then you fear talking to your boss, isn't it? Because you fear that maybe that stuff that you have done has come up, isn't it? Huh? You know that. You might be a content creator and you write something silly, and then you fear a negative response. Well, this is the thing. If you do evil, evil comes back to you. And if you do a lot of evil and suppress this evil to you, the result is fear. And when you are afraid, there's nothing that consumes your energy more. Maybe you have seen some spiritual teachings talking about energy. Concentrate your mind on this and focus your energy on this and that. There's nothing that consumes energy more than fear. And there's nothing that creates fear other than your own sins. So sinning is what will ultimately fill your mind with a lot of negative energy, and all of your energy and attention will be drained and spent on your mind trying to create belief systems that justify all of the things that you have done, or belief systems that make you not have to think about all of the negative things that you have done. But if you want to clean yourself really spiritually, there are these meditative techniques. But that's a short term, that's a quick medicine. If you want a long-term preventative heal, you have to heal yourself from your own karma. You have to stop sinning. And you have to, maybe, depending on what kind of sins you have done, repay them with good deeds. That way you clean your karma. And when you clean your karma, you will over time clean your fear. If you never go on internet forum writing hateful things about Muslims, when you meet Muslims out there, you have nothing to fear. But if you go and burn the Quran and these kinds of things, when you meet Muslims out there, you will feel a lot of fear. And they will sense your fear, for example. Same with black people or any other people. So this is why all the prophets taught, do good. That's the universal teaching of all prophets. Stop sinning, do good. Because when you do good, you accumulated a lot of good deeds. Then your body's subconscious mechanism expects a positive response for this. This teaching in all religions. Hopefully this will have helpful. Assalamu alaikum.